Before you ask how to go about a thing, you need to be very clear about what it is that you want. So, who are you? What do you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? Then you can go into the details. So, just yesterday, we're having a conversation with someone, and they were talking about the best. Yes, and as soon as they see this, they will remember that before you go into how do I prioritize things, what do you want? And not just in the focus area and the results you seek. What do you want for your life? What kind of, apart from the engagements you want to get into, what kind of environment do you want to live in? Do you want to work in? What kind of experiences? What kind of peace? What kind of time? What kind of margin do you want between the things that you get into? Before you go into the how of anything, ask yourself, what do I want? And not just about the focus area. What do I want right now in my life? Do I want flexibility? Do I want to just be authentic and be myself? Do I want to earn a certain amount, or I am not engaging in that contract? Do I want to get into a promotion and not continue with this position? Do I actually not want a promotion because of my current situation at home and I would like to stay where I am? Do I want to relocate or not? What do I personally want? Then, and I would actually recommend that you write it down, then you're in a position to talk about the details, the how, with whom, on what terms. That comes later. And so whether you have challenges with saying yes or saying no, challenges with prioritizing all the conflicting things that are in your life, challenges with partnerships you've gotten into, and so what do I say yes to what extent, what is my role, what is their role. Before you go into the details of the implementation or the execution, ask yourself, what do I want? Who am I? Where am I going? And on what terms do I want to get there? And then come back to this specific thing that is before you to do. Can I do this? On what terms will I do this? Who do I want to do this with? To what extent? Otherwise, when you jump the gun and go into the how, when you jump the gun and go into the partnerships, when you jump the gun and go into the details of how to rearrange things, before you're clear about who you are and what it is that you want to accomplish and how, that I want my peace, I want my day to start at this time, I want it to end at this time. When I have my appointments, this is the value that I want to get out of them. This is what I'm looking to accomplish. Therefore, now that I'm clear about who I am, what I want, where I am going, and on what terms I personally want to engage daily with everyone else, then I can go with that choice I have made in advance. I can go to other people and say, okay, this is what I am doing, this is where I am going, and in this particular situation, this is how I would like us to engage. But when you are not clear about who you are and what you want and where you're going and what kind of values you stand for and what kind of standards you want to have, what kind of money you want to earn, if you're not clear, you're going to be stuck in this situation. You're going to be stuck with negotiating every term right there when you're in front of everyone, which is too late. You do not want to get yourself only thinking about yourself when you're now in front of people. So, okay, those are the terms you want, because you're not clear about what terms you want. Or, something comes up and people are asking, can you do this? And all of a sudden you're like, okay, let me see. If you know in advance, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, and this is why I choose to go there. And these are the terms generally in my life that I will engage, that I will have flexibility in my work, that will earn a certain amount, that I will be able to do this, that I have the weekends to myself, if that is a choice, that I'm able to travel, when you are clear in advance, when you have chosen in advance, then you can come in, and anything that comes before you is not going to be a surprise to you. You're not going to then be biting your nails and wondering how you will respond, whether you will lose this opportunity by saying one thing or the other, trying to read your counterpart as to what would be the right thing to say and what could put them off. No. You will come out from the peace, the security, the certainty, the surety of who you are, where you want to go, on what terms, how you want to engage yourself in work and in life, career, business, whatever context, and what of yourself you will give, to what extent, on what terms, with what remuneration. Nothing will phase you because you will come from a place of already knowing, of already being clear about who you are and where you want to go. So I urge you, if you feel like I have issues, Modesta, with saying no, I have issues with even trying to negotiate terms, whether it's for in my career or business, or it could be in ministry, it could be in the community, it could be in my family. I just don't feel like I have the power, or I feel like I'm being selfish. I feel guilty for, saying what it is that I want. And then at the end of the day, when I think about it, what else am I doing? And so you say yes to many things, or you agree to terms that you are absolutely resentful and bitter about later, or you take on things that have less priority than others, and maybe had you done these other things, you'd get greater returns than engaging these things. All of those things, they don't get clear when you're in front of me. So for instance, one of the things that I ask people to do before I have any program with them is think through who you are and where you want to go. Before anybody starts launching out in what they want to do, first of all, understand who you are and what you want generally, and what place, this specific thing now that you want to do, what place it has in your general journey, in your general life, in your general goals and pursuits. Because if you come around people who can talk circles around you, people who come with such amazing proposals that you're thinking, oh my goodness, I really just must get on this thing, and you didn't know beforehand who you are and what you want and on what terms, you could get swallowed up on other people's agenda. You could say yes to a lesser thing when your best yes could have actually been invested in another. It is not up to the rest of the world to find a place for you. It is not up to the rest of the world to negotiate on terms that would be beneficial to you. Family, not your friends, nobody at all owes it to you to negotiate for you. And I say this, you are not in a position to negotiate the best for you if the only time you're thinking of what's best for you is at the time when you have to have a conversation with somebody. So choose beforehand. Set your vision and your values, and value your time, value your skill set, value your experience before you come before people, so that you know this is what I'm expecting to give, this is what I'm expecting to gain. This is how much I will negotiate, and I will maybe compromise, but I will not go lower than that. Or I will not do more than this. These are things that you decide beforehand. And when you show up, no matter how much they can speak, no matter how much they feed you, no matter what good story they give you, you listen and you can graciously say, no, not on those terms. No, that way. What would work for me is this. And you keep quiet and you give people time. And should they be aligned with you, yeah, they'll go ahead with you. But if not, they'll walk away, and that is absolutely fine. Because otherwise you just committed months, years of your life to something that you're not really there for. Or you've committed investments, monetary investments it could be, that you were not ready for. Or you've committed to align yourself with people that you actually later in retrospect realize, no, I do not actually want to partner with them. But these things, you won't see clearly, you won't think clearly when you are in front of people. You must decide beforehand. Who am I? Where do I want to go? And on what terms? And to what extent in this particular thing will I serve, and on what terms? Will I engage in what terms? Will I partner and on what terms? And then you make sure it's not going to be their job. It is not for your counterpart to negotiate to your benefit. It is for you to negotiate to your benefit. And it is for you to decide your parameters, your boundaries. This far I will go in compromise, no further. This much I will do, no more. And then decide, well, does it look like we're aligned and we go ahead? Does it look like this is the best way to spend my time, to spend my money, to engage in this partnership? If not, you nicely, graciously, not rudely, not dramatically, you say no thank you, and you move on. And because you are clear about who you are and where you want to go and what it is that you want to achieve, anyone else that comes in, any other opportunity, and whether it's investment opportunity, whether it is time to engage in something or whatever pursuit, anything else that comes in, you're able to evaluate it against who you are and where you want to go and what terms you want to engage in life. So I just had a conversation on a discovery call with somebody, and she was asking me how to negotiate terms, how to say yes here or how to say no here, and what does she do? And I said, you're going way ahead of yourself. You're talking about who to engage with and on what terms, and you think you went a little too far here and maybe you want to retract, and here maybe you need to go a little more on. First of all, be clear to yourself what it is you want to do by this thing. You're the vision bearer. What do you want to do? Where do you want to take it? What will be your phased implementation plan? What do you start with? What will be next? Because then you'll be very clear what specifically you want them to do by you. What do you want them to do? What role do you want them to play? And on what terms? Because there are times, because we don't do the research. Today I just put out a quote I wrote, starting out is as simple as doing an online search or asking someone. After you are clear on what it is that you want, you can see specifically what you want for others. Otherwise, if you don't do any research and you just go to an expert, you can go for absolutely everything and have to pay a premium when there are actually other things you didn't need to, but you hadn't thought it through. You just surrendered yourself to somebody else's mercy. Don't do that in your job. Don't do that in your business. Don't do that in ministry. Don't do that in your family. Don't do that with friendships. Do not just go with the flow. Do not just follow the crowd. Do not feel as if I have lesser bargaining power, so I will just go with whoever else wants to do whatever they want to do. Sit with yourself and take stock of who you are, what you have done, what skill sets and gifts and talents you have to offer, what your current lifestyle and setup is, what time you have, what investments you have, what energy you have, what you're willing to do. The peace of mind, for instance, like I will not compromise peace of mind in this moment. I will not compromise my earning at this moment. So consider your non-negotiables. I will not compromise my faith. And then make sure that you can engage on terms that honor you, honor what you value, and honor the value that you bring to that transaction, that you bring to that moment, that you bring to that contract. It's up to you. So before you ask how, find out what. And you find out from yourself, what do I want? And what do I want from others then? And on what terms? Then make sure that you're not thinking on your feet, which is great, but you're not thinking right there for the first time. When you're in a situation, that's when you think of yourself and you wonder what it is that would be best for you. No. You already thought about that before. And when you show up, you're negotiating, you're transacting, you're making sure that your side is heard, it is honored, and that you're entering into something. And honestly, it could be as simple as what you're committing your time to. You're entering into something that not only are you comfortable with, but you will gladly wake up every morning to, and you will sustain that effort until you reach the results that you seek. This is what adulting is. This is what we must do. But getting into situations that we're not comfortable with, and then we get resentful, and then we get bitter, or then we retract, and we can no longer honor things because we didn't think it through. But at the beginning, nah, that's tacky, that's unethical. We don't do that. We take responsibility for the outcomes we seek in life, and we make sure that we can articulate them to ourselves, internalize them ourselves, so that we can then communicate them to others, whatever the situation is.